Hey everyone, today I've created these cards using the Just Crafts 6x8 card sketch number 4. This is another one that uses triangles, and I've just been trying out all the 6x8 because I had one paper pack in particular with 36 pages, and this is it here. It's Pebbles brand and it's Peek-A-Boo You Boy. Now these animals are ridiculously cute. And I do have another video where I've used this same paper to make a slightly different card sketch, so I'll put a link up the top on the right hand side of the screen. But for these ones, I'm just using the mustard color for the triangles and then these, I guess, tealy green based elements for the front of the card. I'm only making a few cards this time. There is only going to be 8. However, they really do pack a punch. I really like them. So top right hand side of the screen, you can see that I've got some card bases with some kind of light stone colored backing panels already attached. These are standard A2, so they are 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. Okay, now that I've cut down all of the paper to a 3x4 piece, I'm using my trimmer here to mark the locations where I need to cut. If I'd thought this through, I would have used my fine liner on the back of the paper rather than the front because there's little marks after I've finished it. Nothing that anybody would notice, but I guess I know that they're there, and so I would do it differently next time. On one side, you make a little mark in the middle of the paper, and on the other side, you actually do it at 1 inch from each end. And you'll see in a moment that when I'm using my trimmer to cut these down, it is actually a very straightforward process. I was originally a little intimidated by the number of triangles because I find them a little fiddly to work with. But once I actually tried the sketch, I think this is definitely one that I would use again. So here I'm just cutting from the top corner down to the little dot on the side that had 2 dots. And then I'm zigzagging to connect from one to the other and just cutting these little triangles. It's super easy, I promise you. The end result of the card does look really interesting, which is why I liked using the sketch, and I'm sure I'll use it again. And it didn't take long to cut all of those triangles down. Just the little marks onto the paper to begin with really did make all the difference. I am on a mission this year to try and get to 2,000 subscribers. So if you enjoy my videos and you've not taken a moment to subscribe and you'd like to, it'd be great if you could do that. If you'd like to know when I get new videos up and posted, then you can also hit that notification bell and you'll get an alert every time I post something new. If you could also hit the like button, that would be amazing. That is how YouTube knows to share videos to more viewers. Okay, so I've done all these front panels, and as I said, there's 8 of them in total. I'm just sorting them out to put the same pieces of paper on top of each. So where I've cut up the piece of paper, the animals line up differently. I don't know why I did that. Maybe I wanted to double check where I would put my sentiment, but for the moment, they're all lined up, and I am attaching each of these triangles with some liquid glue. I'm going right to the edge of my backing panel. So it's 5 1/4 by 4. So it leaves a nice 1/4 inch border around the edge. And I decided not to add an additional border and just have all of these go right to the edge of it because I wasn't sure if the triangles would end up too crowded in the middle of the card. You can see here that I've just put the 2 triangles, the 2 smaller ones at the end first, and then I've been able to line up the other triangle in the middle. I didn't measure, I didn't even use my grid mat. I literally just did it by eye. And on the opposite side, if you do these ones second, it's really simple to do the same thing. You can line them up and just measure the gap of that kind of zigzag through the middle. And I ran through and did 8 of these really quickly. It was really fun to create these cards, and I'm sure you will see it again in another one of my videos. I have a question. Do you ever do crafting in groups? So with a group of friends or at a community centre, or do you normally do your crafting at home with your family? I'm super curious because I was wondering about doing some videos for beginners that don't have a trimmer and really are just going to cut maybe even just plain paper. Maybe they don't have pattern paper, but being able to just create some really cool cards with minimal supplies. Let me know in the comments below if you think that that might be helpful, and I will have a bit of a think about it over the holidays and see if I can come up with some great ideas that might be a little bit more attainable for people that may not have a die cutting machine, or maybe not one of the special trimmers or guillotines. All right, so I'm just finishing up this second one here, and then I run through and do the rest of them off camera. I decided to keep it really simple for the sentiments, and I have these little white squares that come out of a cover die that I've got from MFT, and I just stamp a really little happy birthday or a thank you or something on it. I've got a couple of sets from Fawn that fit perfectly into the little square, so I will make sure that I link to those down below. They are my favorite stamp sets and I just use them constantly. So just adding this to the panel, I'm trying to be really careful about where the animals are underneath. And with this, you can see I kind of cover the entire lion, but at least he's covered and it's not just he's headless. So I really try not to add things onto the card that makes it a super awkward location. So I was pretty lucky with where these ones landed, and I didn't have any decapitated zoo animals. Okay, so now I'm just attaching the panels to the triangles, and I just think it's a super interesting card and it's not too complicated to create. I think a beginner would be really impressed with themselves with the result that they got here, and they would have absolutely no trouble creating it at all. I have put a link here to another video that I think you might enjoy. Have a great day.